Hey all, and this is the Strength of the Wilds event. This is an Earth Commander event and Chaotic Killer. I've made up a few teams. I did actually manage to get this event deck, and it is one of the most overpowered decks I've seen in a long time. I will explain why as we go. So here are the three teams I have made up. First one, this uses older cards, and this is what I was originally going to go in with. Then for the second deck, this uses part of the event deck. Then finally a deck for the bosses that uses a mix of older cards plus the ultimate form. So let's go over to the first team. This relies on this card here really, as this card boosts up the damage every time a turn delay card is used. If we go across to this card, one turn delay on it. Now this card is the card that has the Chaotic Killer skill. This is also a Slayer card though. The idea was this has the killer skill on it, then that would boost up the damage from this card. As this card has a bonus attack on it, after using turn delay to boost up the damage, I was hoping the nuke would hit for good damage, but I never had a chance to test this deck out, unfortunately. Then finally, this card here also used to help boost up the damage, plus its Arcane Killer, so benefits from the damage boost of the other cards. Unfortunately, that only boosts up Earth Commander and not Earth Slayer as well. But I'm not going to be using that team as I did get the event deck. So this is the team I have been using for the maps. And this is actually getting through the maps really quickly. So this is the ultimate form from the event deck. This creates 7 Earth Power Gem 5s, but take a look. 1 turn cooldown on this card. Yep, you read that right, so you can basically use this every single turn as long as you spawn enough power gems, which you should. It's the same with this card here as well. The reason I have this card on the team is also for the blind counter. The solo bosses have blind this time around. But yeah, the event deck is extremely overpowered. One of the strongest decks I've seen in a long time, and then basically I'm using the turn delay strategy that the previous deck used to help boost up the damage. So there we go, similar cards to the previous deck, but this time with the event heroes as well. So there we go. And then finally, for the solo bosses, and for the guild bosses as well, I'm using a mix of the golems. Now this is actually pretty effective. The guild bosses do have weaken on this time around, which is a little bit annoying. The ultimate form does have a weaken counter on it though, which is pretty useful. It does not counter weaken every single time though, unfortunately. However, that still helps a lot. Just wait until weaken counters, then go in with the golems ultra rare to get that damage boost up. Now this card is Immortal Killer, so benefits from the boost from the golems. This also has that poison effect, plus it creates power gems passively, so this is actually a really good card with this team. Quick and Dirty, another Immortal Killer card. Creates quite a few power gems. It's an older card though, so not overly powerful, but still helps with this team. And then finally, the Golem's Master Hero, or should I say Ultimate Hero. This one is basically to fill the grid with power gems and stop the gems from crushing together. If the gems can't crush together, you get higher value power gems on the grid, therefore leading to more damage. So there we go. 3 decks, 2 decks I will be using. I feel I have a deck for pretty much every single situation here. So let's go and play the Crusade and see how I get on with that. Alright, so on to the actual event. Before we begin, I did decide to make a few changes to the team I will be using for Crusades. I did not really like the arcane killer style, so I've decided to swap out the 2 cards that had the damage boost based on turn delay. I added the shiny card from this event deck. As with the previous cards, creates power gems and has that lovely 1-turn cooldown. I also decided to add the Savage Swarm to this deck. You've already seen this card, but that should hopefully help me to get through the maps a bit faster than my previous deck. My aim is to get through these maps as quickly as possible, to get as many keys as possible, as you can probably understand, so I can choose pretty much any Earth Commander card, except for the ones that have that GVG bonus as their lead skill. This one does not, so it should give me a decent amount of HP and hopefully get me through this map really quickly. So here we go, let's play the event. HP is 2.2 million, as you can see here. Right, so here we go. So basically, if I just use the event cards at the start, or should I say the cards with the 1-turn cooldown, this should actually be enough to get me through the regular enemies without needing to use the other cards. You can see the damage there. I mean, it is pretty ridiculous, even with just those 3 cards. Here we go again. Let's just use those 3 cards. And then just match anything, and then that gets me through the wave nice and quickly. You can see what I mean by how overpowered this deck actually is, as well as that have 2 cards that have the poison effect as well. So this should be really, really quick. I use those 2 cards as well. They just have the skill that gives a damage reduction on them. Let's see how much this does anyway. It should do decent damage. There we go. And now bonus attack and the poison effect as well. So that's got rid of slightly under half the health already, but this is the rare spawn, so it is a bit harder than the regular spawn. That's another pretty good hit. So this should be nearly defeated by the time I've used these skills. Got more than enough health to get through this. So a nice quick team for the Carillion maps. No problem. Boss defeated. There we go. So now I'm going to try and get a solo boss up. It might be quite difficult to defeat a solo boss on the Carillion map, however, it does give me a chance to test out both of my teams properly. Alright, so here we go with a Carillion solo boss. It took me a few waves to get this up. I'm going to go in with my regular Crusade deck first, and then I'm going to go in with my Golems mix afterwards. So here we go. Let's see how much damage I can do with just a regular single affinity deck. I'm hoping this will actually do pretty decent damage to the boss. I've not tried this out yet on a solo boss. I know the Golems was pretty effective on the diamond bosses, but we shall see. Might as well just use everything on turn 1. Do something like that. Right, there we go. How much damage is that doing? Well, it's doing actually pretty decent damage. I might need another solo boss to test out the Golem's mix, because this is actually doing more damage than I was expecting, and it might kill it in one attack. I don't know. In which case, I won't need the Golems at all for this event, which makes a change. Yeah, that damage is really nice. It's eating through that health surprisingly fast. Normally I struggle with the solo bosses really badly, but this event I don't think I'm going to have any problems, which makes a change. For those of you that follow my videos, you will know I normally have major problems with the Corellium solo bosses, so it makes a change, that's for sure. My only problem might be that I run out of health. Hopefully that won't happen. This team might also be good enough for guild bosses on its own as well, without needing the golems or any other cards. I don't know yet, but this is way more effective than I was expecting it to be. No problems with this boss. It's going to die hopefully on the next attack. Sensational team. By far the strongest single affinity deck I think I've made on the game. Look at that damage. There we go. So that was a bit too easy, if I'm being honest. However, I didn't get overkill, and I wasn't expecting to get overkill. But it killed it in one attack, which was really nice. And now I need to get up another solo boss to test out my Golem's mix on. So here we go. Alright, so here we go with another solo boss. The last one was pretty easy to defeat with just the basic deck plus a few different cards. So this time I'm going to try the Golem's mix. Now this needs to kill the enemy in one turn and do overkill to make it more effective than the basic team that I used before. So here we go. So in testing this was pretty decent, but the other team might be more effective. I'm not sure yet. I'm still undecided on what to use. See what sort of damage I can deal with this. Try not to match too much, but it's going to get rid of all the power gems, unfortunately. Right, let's do some damage. Couple of nice ones in the corner over there. Let's see how much this does. Well, it's definitely doing more damage than the previous team. The problem is it seems slower to get the attacks out, so I'm going to just do this to get some more gems on the grid. As the ultimate form is 1 turn cooldown, I can use that whenever I want to do so. Okay, here we go again. Let's hopefully do some more damage. I'm hoping for a massive hit. I don't know if I will get it or not. Going to need to do that to fill in the gaps, then that. And now, what have we got? Oh, a couple of big power gems there. Let's see what this does. 5 point... Oh my goodness. Well, that was nearly 300 trillion. Okay. So yeah, that was definitely more effective than using the basic event deck. But however, it relies on me getting several good power gems together, and that's the first time that's actually happened. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be using for the solo bosses yet, but I think I probably will go with the Golem's mix. Well, I've got quite a few keys now, so let's give a guild boss a go. The level 243 Corellium boss. As I've already mentioned, this has weaken on it, so I'm not sure how effective the golems will be on this boss. However, based on the solo bosses, this is probably going to be my best option. So here we go. I just have to hope weaken actually counters. The ultimate form does have a weaken counter on it. It's just a case of it actually working or not. So we shall see. Right. So ideally I want to use the Golem's ultra rare on turn 3. That's not ideal, however, it hasn't blocked the ultra rare from the Golem's deck, so I can still get that going. I'm hoping someone else in the guild doesn't attack this as well, otherwise they'll probably kill it. It's still really early in the event, so I don't think anyone else will attack it, but we'll see. Now, weaken is not... Oh, yeah, someone else is hitting it now. Let's see how much this does anyway. Okay, well, it's crushing together there. Oh, there's a couple of really big power gems in the middle. That was very disappointing damage, unfortunately. Very, very disappointing. Considering how big those power gems were, I was expecting a much bigger hit. Yeah, so the guild bosses are pretty tough. Just because of weaken. I need to get lucky with a hit. Plus there's 6 shields on the grid. And those will be reducing the damage. Ideal as well. Okay, well, they're crushing together again. So I don't know what this is going to do. I'll try those 2. That's not bad. That's chipped off a bit, that's for sure. I need more green gems. Oh, there we go. And let's see if I can get out a monster hit. It would be nice. Weaken is the biggest problem with the guild bosses, though. This should be promising. Let's see where the power gems are. Oh no, those. I'm not sure what to match. Let's see how much that does. Well, that's 4.6. Oh, that's a good hit. That's definitely chipped off a decent amount of health from the boss. However, yeah, it's a bit erratic. It relies a lot on luck, but the damage is decent when it works. Plus the poison effect and the bonus attack helps a lot with the damage. Yeah, that's not bad though. With a couple of other hitters on the boss at the same time, that could be really effective on killing the bosses fast. Let's see how I did compare to others in the guild. Yeah, my damage is really high. They might be using 1 key though, rather than 3 keys, so I can't really compare my damage. But yeah, that was pretty effective actually, considering. Alright, so finally I'm going to have a look at the rewards from this event. You will be pleased to hear the boys event has ended, so no more off-colour bosses in the Crusade, thank goodness. So let's start with the collection. Now I believe this is a legend collection, so yeah, outdated rewards, if I'm being honest. I've nearly finished the collection already and I've only been playing for a few hours. Gives you an idea of the power of the event deck. There's not much of excitement in this collection, if I'm being honest. Legends are very outdated and only really used in the legend trials nowadays. So there we go. However, we do have a decent Warden. I had a look at this earlier. The event deck for this event is extremely powerful though, so a water defense is probably not advised. However, this does have counter-attack on it, so yeah, this could potentially be used in a fire-water mix defense, maybe. That would be my idea. If I was going to use this in my defense, I'd probably put this somewhere near the middle or maybe near the start of the defense as well if I was going to use it. But counterattack is a good defender skill. It's not as good as it used to be, but it is still pretty decent. And a warden to consider using if you have some sort of water mixed affinity defense. And there we go. I think that about covers this event. I've already shown you what the event deck is like and what it does. The Vault tiers did not have anything exciting in this time around, just regular Vault tiers, unfortunately. If you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to help. And thanks for watching.